All right. Welcome to the 2.0 Man Japan podcast. This is episode 3. My name is Bodhi Kenyon, coming to you from the heart of Toshimaku in the heart of Tokyo, Japan. I have the honor to spend some quality time with my friend, the amazing Simon Lewis. I've known Simon for about a month so far. This man's very generous, and he's changed my life. Honestly, changed my life. He's cool, calm, and always there encouraging others. Legend. A new word I learned. Simon's the owner of McKenzie's Meats in Sydney and Canberra, which provides high quality grass-fed, hormone-free and additive-free fresh beef and lamb. They cut and pack the meat on the day they receive it, so it's guaranteed to be fresh and delicious. They also carry pork, chicken, fish products, bone broths, organic meats, healthy jerkies, etc., etc. Simon also runs an online 30-day carnivore challenge. I can attest that it's life-changing, as I've just completed it 30 days in. And I've noticed a multitude of physical and mental, emotional changes from it. And I plan to continue it, perhaps indefinitely. So if you're interested in this ultimate health transformation and really serious about it, I highly recommend Simon's 30-day carnivore challenge. Welcome, Simon.
Thank you, Bodhi. Thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah,
I think what you're doing with the 2.0 Man Japan initiative is massive. And it's going to really help people take control of their lives, find more freedom, and ultimately become the man they want to become. And there's a lot of crossover between what you're doing and what I'm doing. And we're both on that same mission to help people.
Right. It's good to know you. And it's amazing that it's only been about a month that we've first met. And
in a big month.
Yeah. November to remember. Actually, in October. It started in October, huh?
Yeah.
So yeah, it's great. It's an honor to have you here. I know you're doing great things in the world, and it's good to know you. And it's great, this Zoom. I mean, this whole technology, we can connect.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So I think the theme we talked about is freedom and empowerment. That's something that we wanted to touch on today.
Yeah, for sure. And they're two themes that are really important to me. I think in terms of my value hierarchy, freedom would be right up there. And freedom can extend from freedom in your own body. So in the physical world, having, flexibility, being comfortable, being strong enough to move and lift things, no aches and pains, and then also freedom in your mind as well. Not having, a swarm of negative thoughts, being able to achieve things quickly and easily and focus and, sleep when you want to sleep, feel rested, not worried, not anxious. And, the things that you and I both work on, in particular, let's say nutrition, if you get your nutrition right, it really can give you that physical freedom in your body. And then it can give you mental freedom as well. And from there, you've got everything in place to then go and achieve, financial freedom or, a life of travel and adventure. But I really do think it starts within, and it starts with getting yourself right. And from there, you've got the platform to go and start creating.
That's awesome. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly my take on it as well. Starts with nutrition. I mean, I thought about it long and hard for years. And, I train people in person here, but if you get nutrition right, everything else starts to fall in line, right?
Yeah. If your nutrition's not right and you've got no energy, your mind's not right, then you can't train really well. You can maybe train really well for a week or two, but injuries will pop up. Your energy will be low. You'll be fatigued. Your hormones will be all out of whack, and long term, you're not going to be moving in that right direction. So, right. Yeah, I think, freedom through nutrition. It's maybe not the route that most people consider straight up,
right.
But I challenge people to give it a go.
Yeah, and it's a great challenge.
Yeah,
and it starts today. The new challenge starts on this day, right?
Yeah, exactly. So I'm running a 30-day carnivore challenge, which provides a support and framework for people who are interested in taking on the carnivore diet. So the participants eat an animal-based diet for 30 days. They get to participate in live calls with experts, including doctors, professional athletes, primal health coaches, and people who've had success on carnivore. And it's this interactive, supportive environment where you've got all these tools to support this accountability. And at the end of it, you're 1 or 10 steps closer to your goal of living that life of physical and mental freedom. So yeah, the second intake has started today.
Congratulations. That's great. How did you, so just a little background. So you are running McKenzie's meets, right? That's, and how long have you been doing this?
About 18 months.
18 months. It's fairly new. So what was so I'm trying to connect this with freedom, but so you've got your own company, right? Is this your first company that you own yourself, that you run?
Yeah, more or less. I'm definitely interested in, I suppose, starting businesses and learning how business works. So, McKenzie's Meats was my first one, and it's taken a lot of work, but I've helped hundreds of people access really high quality meat, which has then helped them with their nutrition and their overall health and made their life more convenient, etc. So that was my mission from the start. I want to make people's lives more healthy, more convenient, and just so that they can get more out of their life. And I knew one of the ways to do that was through access to really high quality, nutrient dense meat and other food products. It's growing, and it's a wonderful challenge. It's not easy by any stretch, and I certainly am no master, but it's satisfying working for myself. And I know I am making a difference, even a small one. It's worth it.
And it's completely, you've freed yourself. You've decided what you're going to serve. If you create that circumstance, and you're doing, you're impacting people. I see it. So even from here, and I wish we could get McKenzie's meats right here in Tokyo, in Japan. Maybe we can.
I know. Well, I think together we can, Bodhi. Certainly, certainly the more pantry products, and ultimately it'd be amazing to get some grass-fed meat, particularly Australian grass-fed meat, which I know is already popular in Japan.
It is.
But if we could work out a way to serve people with this incredible product over there, then that'd be brilliant.
That'd be awesome. So congratulations. It's a big feat to start your own company in 18 months. 18 months I'd started this gym. I was panicked, I was on the edge of going, okay, I'm not going to make it. So I jumped in without any business sense at all. I had an idea and I just went for it. But 6 years.
Well,
6 years later.
There's really only one way to get business sense, and I think that's to do it, and to work hard to try and find other people who've done it as well, and then learn from them. It's not easy. There's plenty of information out there. It's not easy to find the information that's actually going to be helpful to you. So that's that's one of the biggest challenges in itself, I think. And if McKenzie's Meats doesn't work out for me, and for whatever reason it has to stop, then that's okay. I'm cool with that, because I know that I've now got, I've helped a lot of people, but I've also got skills for myself, so I can go and do something else. Right. So I think that kind of makes me feel quite calm about it.
Right. You always seem calm to me. I've never seen you.
Maybe too calm.
What's that? Too calm?
Maybe too calm.
Too calm. It's the carnivore diet, maybe.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's cool. And that would be really great if, together we can. I love that. We actually did I don't know if you remember the big earthquake in Japan. This was probably 6 years ago now, maybe more.
Okay.
Maybe more, 10. But I was in a musical at the time, and we did this show called Together We Can. So it's about empowering Japan, right? So one of the topics we wanted to talk about today, but Together We Can. I haven't heard that in a long time. So thanks for bringing that up. So what inspired you? So McKenzie's meat was connected to the carnivore diet. Was that simultaneous, or how did the idea, you know, and I hear what you're saying. But
Yeah, I would say simultaneous, because as I started getting more interested in my own nutrition and experimenting with carnivore, it was hard, even in Sydney, Australia, to get really good quality meat, particularly delivered to my home. Because I was working full time before I started the business, so I didn't have ages, or I didn't have much time at all, really. I was too busy, kind of, you know, on the hamster wheel. So I needed something delivered and something convenient, and it was hard to find. And there's massive supermarkets here in Australia, and the quality of meat just is not up to scratch. And as I imagine you've experienced over the last month or so, Bodhi, it's like when you start eating more meat, it really needs to be fresh. It needs to have good flavor, and you start to wonder, well, where did this actually come from? So it certainly is a simultaneous thing. It's like, you know, I want to improve my nutrition. Well, I need access to really good quality meat, and so do other people. And I think, despite what we're perhaps being told in mainstream media, I think interest in eating really high quality, nutrient dense meat is going to grow. And, you know, I'd like to be one of the people that helps people access that product as they become more interested in it.
I love your guarantee too. I was looking at your website, and it's like, if it's not tender, if there's any smell to it, you know, guarantee replace it. That's amazing. That's sort of, yeah. I mean, well done. I mean, that's you know, confidence in your product, right?
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, they shouldn't have to pay for it if the product isn't right. And you know, I've never had anyone actually take me up on that guarantee, because
awesome.
Yeah, everything's checked, everything's fresh. It's, you know, a lot of effort and care goes into getting the right product to our customers. And I recommend that approach to any business owner. Like, really stand by your product and reassure people that if they give it a go, because purchasing anything, trying anything is a big commitment. You're parting with your money, and you're putting faith in the other person to deliver. So yeah, I think if you can stand by a product like that, it'll help you and your customers. Your customers don't have to and ah about purchasing, and then, you know, you have to deliver.
Care, man. That's I was on the phone with my mom this morning, and we were talking about care. You know, like the medical system in the States is what it is. I won't say much about it, but just care. I mean, I think that's probably what we're best at here, just caring, and that goes a long way with people, right? Retention and having customers repeat, you know, buying from you, right?
Is there a culture of caring about other people in Japan? I'm not super familiar, Bodhi.
It's very different, like, definitely. And the care comes out more in, let's say, for example, I have a gym. It's in this apartment building. It's open to anyone that comes through the door, basically. And knock on wood, touch wood, everything's in there. There's stereo speakers. There's all kinds of equipment. The door's wide open. I shouldn't be saying this, but I can't imagine. No, honestly, being in the States, that there would be a lock on that door for sure. There'd be, you know, security of some sort. That's care to me. Somebody said American people tend to be more kind of huggy and this, and I have lots of Australian friends as well here, and I see that. So it's not that kind of culture. It's more bowing. You know, you see your parents, you haven't seen them in 2 years. It's not a hug. I don't know if you hug your parents or what, but
yeah, I do. Yeah.
I imagine you would. But in Japan, it would be more like a bow, and it's not lovey-dovey. And sometimes you hug people, and it's kind of like hugging a board, because they're not used to it. But the care is in the respect. It's huge. It's such a nice place to live. So that's where the care comes from. And I'm in Tokyo. I'm in millions of people. In this neighborhood, you just go outside, and there's just people walking everywhere. It's just full of people. So you will get that, you know, somebody's kind of occasionally have somebody fall down or something. Maybe they're drunk. People don't know, so they just kind of walk by, and that could be seen as being cold. But it's just like, this person's probably drunk. They look okay. I'm gonna just keep going. Or maybe someone like you or I would stop and, are you okay? You know, and try to stand them up. Or so sometimes Japanese people come off that way, but the care is there. It's a nice place. Kindness is it overflows here. So
that's fantastic. Yeah, no, I will come and visit you, Bodhi. Possibly next year.
You're welcome now, forever. Another thing I wanted to mention. So in the States, I'm trying to handle some different issues, and one's a driver license. So I'm trying to update my California driver's license. I cannot get through to a human being. I cannot get through to I get, hi, my name is Miles. I'm the AI. How can I help you? And I just I'm going to punch Miles in the chin, in a minute. I cannot get through to a human being. And that's lack of care. And I'm saying this against USA. The couple IRS had some issues as well. Couldn't get through to a human being. In Japan, there's always a human being. You'll always have a call where the person will answer the phone. I haven't had a situation where that doesn't happen. So I would say that in that sense, Japan is much more caring than the USA is. So that's my rant about the Department of Motor Vehicles. I'm sorry. But yeah, that care. Yeah. And I think the reason that the success that we've had with our business is just care. We're good at caring for people, and people can feel that and they stay. So we don't think about churn at all. It's about, really connecting with people and helping them and letting them know that we care about them. So yeah, I think that's too. So it works, right? And Gen Freedom, the group we're in, ATG Gen Freedom, that's why I joined. I saw Keegan and I thought, and my wife was Leary, and it's like, these people care, and these people are this is what's happening. We care about each other. We look at each other's success or failures or challenges, and we help each other, right? That's what we're building.
Yeah. I totally agree. There's definitely a sense of care there, and a real sense of community too. And the fact that, I feel confident that I could reach out to anyone in that group and say, hey, I need 5 minutes of your time. Can we please chat on a video call? Right. And they'd be up for it. And they would help. Yeah. So yeah, it's a brilliant group. That's for sure.
And you are always empowering people in the group. I noticed that, you're always quick to jump in and say, well done, or, really encouraging and empowering people in the group, me as well, and others. So thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Yeah, I think most people are motivated by praise and sort of being reassured that they're on the right track. I don't know if some people are more motivated by, by fear, by the stick. But yeah, I want to get real honest feedback from all the people in Gen Freedom, because they're very intelligent and they've got practical experience in the fields that I'm interested in. So in turn, if I can dig through my brain trying to find something that will help them, then I will. Right. So yeah, it's very reciprocal.
I think it carries over to the challenge too. You were leading the challenge, your Carnivore challenge. So that being there, and people have hardships. It's not looks easy on paper, right? Here's what it is. Here's the diet. Go. 30 days, in 3 days. I've done challenges in 3 days. Half of the people are gone. There's just no. Yeah. This one wasn't what I expected. This is I'm out.
Okay.
But yeah.
That's interesting. It's something that I haven't even thought about. I just assume that everybody who starts will be there at the end. Yeah. Actually, before I started running the Carnivore challenge, I have supported a couple of friends who've done the Carnivore diet, and then all the support that I've given them has been based on my own experience of doing it and all the information that I've absorbed. And I happily had hour-long conversations with my friends, sometimes every second day, listening to what they were going through, because the symptoms can be really challenging, Keto Flu, which people might have heard about, where your body is transitioning from running on carbohydrates to running on fat. You can feel totally fatigued. You feel whacked. And then you try and sleep and you can't, and you wake up at 3 a.m, you can't get back to sleep. Like it can be pretty ordinary.
Right.
And also like diarrhea or feeling nauseous. It's not an easy transition to make. So yeah, it's very satisfying helping people get through that. And I'm still learning, but from each person who goes through it, we can learn a little bit more. Little tips like drink some bone broth, get your salt levels up. If you really need to get some carbohydrates in, why don't you have, an orange or like a little bit of honey, something you can digest really quickly. Will spike your glucose a little, but isn't going to completely throw you off track.
Right.
So yeah, it's fascinating to me. And yeah, helping people is super satisfying.
And you brought on some great guests as well. I mean, that was also, I mean, being outside of Australia, I think you had, sorry, his name's slipping my mind now, but
Marty.
Marty.
Yeah.
These are top level pro athletes, right? I mean,
absolutely. Yeah. We've had Marty Torpow, who plays professional rugby league in Australia, and Tom McDonald, who plays professional AFL. So they're like the two biggest sporting codes in Australia.
Wow.
And they're both strict carnivore, as well as primal health coach called Tom Boyci.
Yeah.
He's seriously knowledgeable. Like, I think he's knows 10x what I know. And he's got some great tips. And Dr. Pran Yoganathan, who is a carnivore doctor, a gastrointestinal doctor here in Australia. And yeah, he's a font of knowledge as well, and more. So anybody who I think has a heap of value to add to the group, get them in, get them exposed to everybody there, and then their DMs are open, so people who are in the group can then reach out. You can have a one-on-one conversation with Marty Torpow. Or with a doctor who's so busy, you can't get a look in person here in Sydney, but you can get access to him through the Carnivore group. So yeah, it's a good opportunity.
Yeah, and this extends. This isn't we're talking a lot about Australia now, but I'm in Japan. This goes out. Your Carnivore challenge is open to the entire world, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so, anyone in the world can join. I mean, particularly in Japan, the time zones are so similar that it's super convenient. But yeah, anyone in the world can join, and you've got access to a private messenger group, a private information hub, and of course the live presentations. So yeah, it's awesome. A good offer.
Yeah, I felt supported the entire time. There wasn't a minute where I didn't, and you jumped in right away, through the messenger group, right? Telegram, I guess. What would you say that running the Carnivore challenge has given you so far? What have you received from it?
It's definitely given me more confidence in my ability to help people, which I'm really grateful for, because I've been helping people who I've never actually met in person, and I've realized that if I don't know the answer, then I can reach out to someone who does, whether it's, a primal health coach or someone who's really experienced in carnivore. They can come in and provide help. Something that I'm kind of keep telling myself is that in order to help somebody else, you only need to be one step ahead of where they're at. You don't have to be, you don't have to have a PhD in the carnivore diet to be able to run the Carnivore challenge. But if you're creative enough to know who to bring in to support other people, and you've got enough experience yourself to be able to cover most of the bases, and you show compassion, you listen and you care, then you really can help people. So anybody who's listening to this and is considering, hey, I'm close to an expert in blah, blah field, and I'm thinking about, starting something where I can help people, well, give it a go. You'll learn a lot as you go on. And if you don't know the answer, sure, you can find someone who does know the answer.
Right.
So yeah, I think that confidence has been fantastic. It's been brilliant for me.
Yeah, congratulations. And that's great share too. You can always do that one step ahead. We can really help people, right?
For sure.
So in addition to carnivore, I think you had mentioned ancestral nutrition or something before in the conversation. How do you keep yourself healthy? Is it just diet for you? It's all diet, or do you train? Or
Yeah, I like training as well. So I do a lot of the ATG style workouts, which are sort of influenced by Ben Patrick, the knees over toes guy, on Instagram. So I'll do basically often like a circuit of exercises that are combining strength with mobility. So if I'm doing like ATG lunges, well, I'm increasing the mobility of my hips and my ankles, while also working on, the muscles in my legs and my back. Been getting into using rings recently with a couple of mates. So we've got like the rings looped up on the top of a banister in a house, and we're doing chin-ups and dips and push-ups. But a big focus for me is spending more time outside. So I'm trying to get out in the sun more often, and it's helping me feel more like me, because I know how much I like being outside, and when I do that, I'm like, it feels natural, and then you sleep better because you're getting that natural light in your eyeballs. Right. You feel, it's good for your hormones because you're getting that vitamin D on your skin. Everything about it feels more natural, and I feel happier. So the ATG style workouts, ideally with friends outside.
Nice.
That's perfect for me.
Yeah, rings are an amazing. Like I've got a gym full of expensive things, and rings are like the least expensive and probably my favorite piece of equipment. Problem in Japan is inside the house. There's nothing. If I showed you my place, there's nothing to hook rings onto.
Yeah,
so you have to. I mean, you'd have to go outside, and that's a good idea. So thank you.
Yeah, we've been hooking them up on like tree branches,
right?
We're just finding any sort of like balcony or structure outside and then hooking them up. Which adds to the variability and adds another dimension to the training. So.
Right. Being in the sun, man. I've been outside my whole life. I being in a house. When I took my first job, they're like, this is like 9 to 5, and I thought it took me a week to decide if I wanted to stay inside that much. And that's how much I go outside often. And the sun is really healing, right? And you're in Sydney, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and the weather is pretty mild all year, right? It's like
that's right. Yeah, it would be similar to California, but possibly California might be a little bit drier. Here it's slightly more humid. Okay. But we get seasons, but it's hot in summer and it's pretty mild. It's like jumper and jeans weather in winter. Like we're very lucky, and Sydney's surrounded by the ocean as well. So it's a great place to visit or a great place to live.
Is the ocean cold? Is it ocean warm or cold?
In degrees Celsius, the ocean's like 19 degrees at the moment, which is quite pleasant.
Yeah, that's good.
Nice. Warmer than California.
Yeah, California's cold.
Yeah.
I remember running to California. Like I'm from Michigan, which is next to Canada, way up north. And I drove to California. I'm going to California. I literally got to the beach. I think it was March, and I ran, took my clothes off and jumped in and went, oh my God, it's just freezing. No clue. It's watching all the movies from the 60s where they're in the water, and it's quite cold. Okay. So cool. That's ATG that's how we met, actually, right? Through ATG originally. So Athletic Truth Group. And I wanted to ask you about pain. So you do a lot of mobility, and you're quite young, right?
30, yeah, I'm 30.
30, right? Yeah. Did you have pain before? I mean, did you have aches and pains in your joints, body, anywhere?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Wow.
Sort of back pain, which is probably largely caused by having tight hamstrings.
Right.
I spent a lot of time working on my mobility in my hamstrings and my hips. And I grew up playing AFL, which is like Australian football. Right. And there's like a lot of running and a lot of contact in that. So I've had a knee reconstruction and have been reasonably banged up. But yeah, the ATG system has given me a lot more confidence and strength in my bad knee, and the knowledge of how to relieve the tightness in my back from sitting at a desk has been fantastic. Doing Jefferson curls, loosening up the hamstrings, loosening up the hips. I've day to day I'm pretty pain free. I still get Achilles pain, which I think is really common, particularly for people about my age who go through sort of this period where suddenly you hit 30 and your Achilles hurt every day.
That's the first time I heard that.
But the knowledge of of Ben Patrick talking about, building up the strength of I think it's your soleus and your calves, and the mobility of your ankles can really help resolve that Achilles pain. So yeah, it's been great for me.
That's awesome. Yeah, I work with people in their 40s. I'm from 30s, actually, 30s, 40s, 50s, but then 40s and 50s, people really start to, frozen shoulder and all these different things. And that's good to hear that from you, that, and I've noticed with younger people here, especially in Japan, a lot of people that I work with are successful. So they studied, they have cram schools in Japan. There are 4 cram schools within a stone's throw of my place here. And these kids go to normal school, and then they go home and eat, and then they go to school again until like 9 p.m. And it's science, and it's just, so they come in here, and, guys that are 25-ish can't do a push-up.
Wow.
I was like, really? Like I couldn't, or ankle flexibility of, a broomstick or something, just they're sitting all day long from childhood. So, I work with a lot of people in the sort of tech field as well, expats from all over the world.
But Bodhi, there must be millions of people who are thinking, stuff this.
Yeah.
But they're trapped in that system. I mean,
they are.
Even you mentioning these cram schools and being stuck in a desk and becoming a robot is, it's making the hair stand up on my arms. But I just imagine there must be so much dissatisfaction.
Yeah. And they're tough. Japanese people are tough. This is gaman. There's a word in Japanese. Gaman means like just hang in there. That's that's why Japan became so strong in World War II. And it's Japanese people are tough, and there's still, I see a lot of people really working through, and this happens across the world, but people working through pain, especially guys in the gym with the heavy deadlifts, with the heavy bench presses. Got all sorts of pain, and that's the way it is, and it doesn't have to be, right? Carnivore diet, I mean, that's the smartest step in the direction, even if it's not 100% carnivore. The inflammation, it just, I mean, I've had all sorts of issues with my body from inflammation, and now they're almost all completely resolved. So, and it's quick. So
yeah, I know it's a quick fix relatively. In 30 days, what some people can achieve is absolutely incredible. And knowledge that you get in knowing what foods your body truly runs best on,
right.
And that feeling of no bloating and energy and no inflammation, it becomes addictive. And then when you slip up once and you eat the food in a box, in a packet, highly processed crap, then you certainly know about it and you don't want to do it again. So I totally agree with what you're saying.
I just wanted to ask you what you're learning or studying now. Is there anything that you're learning or studying that excites you the most?
There's a lot of things that I'm learning that's exciting me.
Yeah, sure.
I think definitely the power of communication, because I think I always thought, so growing up and going to school and trying to get good marks at school, I always thought that I was good at communication, but often what you're taught is how to communicate in a way that answers a prescribed question from a textbook, and that might mean be clear and provide the answer that we're looking for. But I think true communication is much deeper and much kind of cleverer than that in a way. If you are somebody who can, in a conversation, help other people discover more about themselves, that opens up a world of opportunity. And it's almost like another realm that most people will never even scratch the surface of. If you really think about conversations, your stereotypical conversation is two people telling each other something about themselves, and you're basically just tic-tacking and swapping. But if you can become the person in that conversation who is asking questions that start with what or how, right. And don't have an assumed answer and aren't, kind of aggressive or antagonistic, and it's really just a discovery, you can find out what's really happening in that person's mind, and then you can be the person who can help them come to a conclusion that really helps them.
Right.
And then this sort of communication can extend to, of course, to your business, because you can start to connect with people and make an impact and identify what they really need help with. So that's kind of like, my sort of new learning on communication that I'm still trying to wrap my head around and articulate. But it's a really fascinating world. I just think a lot can start from there.
Yeah,
once
tons,
you kind of, you work out these foundational things, it's like, oh wow, I can apply this to all the copywriting, my sales page, my emails, my interaction with customers, everything really. Right. So I think, Bodhi, I imagine you're having a similar experience at the moment.
Yeah, the question I asked you was a what question, so I'm right on it, right?
Absolutely, yeah. You haven't backed me into a corner. You haven't forced me to. This is very, very open. I'm discovering things about myself as I respond to it.
Right. I'm not trying to get anything from you, actually. I'm just trying to share with people that may be interested in what we're talking about, right? So
totally.
I like the beauty of that communication, or even the word sales, right? That's scary, sort of like I'm trying to sell someone, trying to help someone. And if it's in that conversation and they never come back and want to have another conversation, you've helped them, right? So it's care again, I guess. Is there anything else? So communication, you said you had many, but so you talked about communication.
Yeah, I think communication is a big one, and then also systems, business systems.
Oh, right.
I think I'm becoming somebody who is good at systems, and that can create, for McKenzie's Meats, I've got a handful of guide documents that explain how to do everything in the business. And then when I onboard somebody new, I give them the guide document, and then we can talk through any questions they have or that might come up from that document. And the more systems that you put in place, and it might be automated systems via an email system, an email sender like Klaviyo or MailChimp, or it might be, website systems or systems which are other people helping you. That's when you can start to create space. And once you have that space, you've got more time to think, more time to be creative, less stress, less angst. And then you can start adding more products or adding more systems or adding a 30-day carnivore challenge. And then that's where the growth is. So yeah, I am becoming somebody who's good at implementing systems.
Vital, right? I mean, for a business, that's where I struggled in the beginning, because I had no sense of anything. I just started. Once you have systems, they give you space, right? And then
absolutely,
you can create Stoic journals and all sorts of good stuff. So that's huge, right? Anything else you want to share? What you're learning?
The topic of the Stoic journal.
Oh, there it is.
This is something that's been huge for me. Every morning I write in my journal what I'm grateful for, what needs to happen on that day. What else do I put in? My affirmations, which is all about, I am somebody who does this, or I will do such and such. and it's an amazing tool for mental clarity. It's a really good way to take what's bubbling away in your mind, particularly when you first wake up in the morning, put it down on paper and make sense of the day.
Can you show it to us? Like just even just
yeah, absolutely. I'll show you so it's a hardbacked A4 book. On the front, it's got an image of Marcus Aurelius, who's the most famous Stoic. And this is kind of the core page. I'm not sure if you can see there. My screen might be a bit fuzzy.
That's fine. I can put a link. I'll put a link in the
video. Probably in there. So on the left page, you have your journaling for the morning. On the right page, you have your journaling for the evening. And it asks you for 3 things you're grateful for in the morning, 3 things that you love about yourself, what your monthly goals are, what you're doing each day to achieve them, obstacle of the day, so like a challenge that might arise, which is actually an opportunity, key tasks, and then your affirmations. So, kind of positive things about yourself or who you're becoming. And it's like a rolling ball. It's, it really starts to accumulate it helps with your self-esteem and your overall direction of where you want to go.
It's powerful. But just to keep things in front of you, like, say your monthly goal, just having something like flossing teeth, for example. I used to put the floss in front of the sink, and my wife's like, why don't you put that away? It's like, so we see it. It's there, right? So you're constantly looking at yourself. And loving yourself too, writing 3 things you love about yourself. That's how many people do that?
Yeah, exactly.
1% of the population, maybe.
Well, no, I don't. At least in Australia, we're not taught to say things like that.
No. So interesting. Go ahead.
Sorry, no, you go on, buddy. I wasn't so much.
This morning, my wife and I, we have a meeting every morning. This is it's a work meeting, but we recite our vision and then we talk about things. And she brought up the idea of the word. She brought up gratitude, and she's pointing to things on my desk, like this microphone. This is a great microphone, or all these things we tend to take for granted, but they're so important. They're vital. The sound of this microphone is really good. Seeing you here, what we can do with this, right? But the word in Japanese, do you know the word for thank you in Japanese?
No.
Arigato. So
arigato,
arigato, right? Yeah, you got it. Yeah. So the original word is arigatai, which is like, if you break it up into 2 syllables, it's like Latin, where we split words. So ari is to exist, to be as a thing like this. People is iru, so as a thing. It exists and it's hard. So it literally means something, it's hard to exist. So that's why we're grateful for it, because it would be hard to, I'm just making this up now, but it would be hard for me to make all this stuff on my desk. I couldn't do it. And if we get pissed off at, why doesn't this thing work right now? I'm trying to get Zoom to work, and why isn't it working? Make it yourself. Try to make that yourself, right?
Yeah, so wow.
That gratitude, like arigatai, it's hard to have, basically. That's where the word thank you comes from in Japanese. So it's quite deep, but
yeah. Wow, that's a really interesting perspective. I'm still processing that.
Yeah. No, it's but gratitude is huge, and a lot of times we forget. She was talking in about the concept of money, and we have a lot of money. Right now we have a lot of money compared to where we were 5 years ago, for example, right? And not to get always grow and expand, and the more we expand, the more we help people, like you're doing. That's the money is just a reward for your service. So that's a great thing, right? But what we have already is enough. So that was the sort of concept she was bringing up. But
yeah, it's powerful.
Yeah, I'll put the Stoic journal link in the video so people can access it. Don't know. Is your time okay?
Yeah, I'm all good.
You okay? Do you have a 5-year vision? Do you have something? Do you see 5 years into the future?
I try to encourage myself to look far into the future as much as possible. Right. And I think I was actually talking about this with my partner last night. And I think that's it. From my experience, it's something you can practice. But it isn't easy. Well, certainly not easy for me, because, there's a lot of, it requires effort because, all right, first of all, how old will you be? Well, what do you want to, what do you want your life to look like? And you say, I want more freedom. It's like, okay, we'll put the effort into thinking about, well, what does that freedom actually look like? It's like, okay, well, I can wake up every day and I can work on something that I enjoy if I want to, but if I don't want to that day, then I can have the freedom to have a day off. So yeah, in terms of what I want in 5 years' time, I suppose more freedom to be able to work when I want to and travel, but also more security. And I think a lot of people feel like that. So I want to have more abundance, have a family by that stage, and know that I'm helping enough people that I've got a lot of security and assuredness for the rest of my life. That was quite a long-winded answer, but yeah, okay. themes of freedom, themes of feeling a sense of security and being able to provide for a family, and helping people, having enough people in my kind of network and enough products and enough infrastructure in place to be able to help lots of people and make an impact.
I think you're already doing it, Simon. I see it.
Well, that's kind of linked to what you were talking about before. It's like, be grateful because maybe you're actually already there, and maybe we don't actually need more.
Right.
I haven't quite wrapped my head around all this, but I know there's something there.
Yeah, and it's good to grow. I think that's it's interesting. I'm looking at life. I'm 50, so I'm 20 years, almost double your age, and I'm just kind of coming around now. So, but I see things now, kind of looking back in 5-year increments. Like, oh, I did this. I aimed for something. It took me 3 to 5 years to kind of bring it to fruition, right? So it doesn't have to be. I mean, you've been in a business 18 months, and you've looks like you're doing really well already. So, but I think that sort of looking at life in 5 years, because 5 years can come pretty quickly. It's a lot of days. What's 5 years like? Geez, it's a lot of days strung together. And if you just keep working on your craft and keep focused on it, the dreams can come through. I mean, really. So I have clients sometimes, and they're kind of stuck in jobs, for example, that they don't like. Quite a few of them. And I talk about it. It's like, you could change it. 5 years from today, you could be doing exactly what you're telling me right now you want to do, and it's not going to be easy, but probably won't be easy. McKeegan said something like it takes most people 8 tries to actually get something right. Like 8, he said. That's like, oh God,
Yeah.
And that's a lot of it's just ego, right? I think if we can just like, okay, I'm going to work on this. I decided to be a trainer. That's it. And it was just a natural flow. I was a musician, dancer, like I was in a musical. It's like, okay, this is not working. There's not a flow to it. It's not like, do you surf, Simon?
Yeah.
It's like when the wave comes in, it's that really nice feeling when the wave comes in, it pulls you up into it. It's sometimes they'll crash right on your head and you get stuck in the suit. But like when it pulls up and it actually pulls you up through the backside of it like that. That's what I feel is like a flow. It's like, okay, it's actually pulling me into this thing. And that's what training and coaching did. It was like that. Music was more like I was kind of punching a wall and trying to knock it down. 5 years later, my life has completely changed, and this freedom and empowerment, I'm feeling both of these things right now. So, but it wasn't easy. I won't tell anybody that it was easy.
Yeah. That's a really good analogy of the wave.
I love that. And
when you do nail that duck dive, no matter how big and how powerful the wave that's coming towards you is, you just kind of slip straight under it.
Yeah. And the mist.
You pop out. You got momentum, and you're like,
that's right.
That's a good way to put it.
I'm not a good surfer, but I love surfing. I started surfing. I was a swimmer in high school and in college, moved to California to follow that surf. I saw that surf. I said, that's the next adventure. So I actually went there kind of with that intention. Point Break. I don't know if you remember that movie.
Oh yeah. I've seen that many times.
Kind of where the name Bodhi, you might wonder where that name came from.
Wait, you called yourself Bodhi?
I was in a musical. My name's Matthew.
Wow.
My name's Matthew. Nice to meet you, Simon. But I watched that movie way back, and I think I watched that movie twice. I think I watched Braveheart 2 days in a row, and I watched that one twice. But the character, Patrick Swayze, I thought that is such a cool thing, and that name is so cool. And I did this musical. This is years later. So it's probably over 10 years after that movie. I was invited to do this show, and they said, you have to change your name. There's a guy from Ireland named Matthew, so you can't use Matthews. You got to choose a name. It was like Jake, Duke. Out of these 3 names came. My mom used to call me Jake, I think, when I was a kid. It was either Jake, Duke, or Bodhi, and it was like, it's
great.
And it just stuck. And then I ended up working there from morning to night for like 10 years. So everyone called me Bodhi, and now my mom calls me Bodhi. So
wow,
yeah, that's where that came from.
What a cool story.
Right. That's kind of funny, right? Here's something, Simon, that's really weird.
Yeah.
Super weird. One night I was walking home from work. It was raining. I was walking by myself, and I just said, I said it out loud, "You're going down, Bodhi." And this is the Keanu Reeves at Bondi Beach or something, when, he's like he finally caught him in Australia. And he goes, "You're going down, Bodhi."
Bell's Beach.
Bell's Beach. Thank you.
Yeah.
Bell's Beach. I said that out loud, and I thought, why did you say that? What was that about? Patrick Swayze died that night. No joke.
Oh, wow.
My Australian friend, the next day, I got the chills standing up. I went to work, and this woman I was working with said, "Oh, did you hear about Patrick Swayze?" I was like, God. "What do you mean?" She said, "He died last night." I was like, whoa. My body went cold. It just like, so that was weird.
He's like your spirit animal.
He must be. Yeah. He was kind of woolly, wasn't he?
Yeah. I watched a documentary on Patrick Swayze recently. You might have seen it. I think it's called like I Am Patrick Swayze.
I have to watch it.
I think it was, it might have been Netflix, or it might have been Binge, which is one of the ones in Australia, but it's really good. He's an amazing guy. And he was a sort of singer, dancer, performer as well.
He was, right?
Yeah.
He was. He's a great dancer.
And that character of Bodhi is such a badass. Like right. He is all aggression and testosterone, and just like, searching for passion. Like, the idea of the final wave and being like, stuff it. If I die in this final wave, and going out in the blaze of glory. Yeah, what a cool alter ego. I love it.
So there it is. Awesome. How can we join your carnivore challenge? Let us know how to get in there. And
so you can join by heading to my website, which is www.howtocarnivore.com. Jump on there, download the free guide ebook, which will explain everything that you're going to get in the challenge, and how the challenge is going to help you lose fat, gain muscle, and get mental clarity. And from there, you can sign up. There are 2 products. You can either sign up and get full access plus access to the live Q&A, or you can get the ultimate pass, which gives you one-on-one conversations with myself and with Tom Boyci, who's a primal health coach. So depending on how much support you want, choose a product that suits you, and join in the growth, because we've had some incredible results of mental clarity, focus, fat loss, Bodhi included. It's and that really, as we said at the very start, nutrition can be the huge impetus for change. That can be the one thing that you nail, and then the rest of the dominoes start falling into place.
Awesome. What's interesting, Simon, is insulin, right? This insulin's a big thing, and I've done the carnivore diet for 30 days. I did it. I'm eating beef, egg yolks. I even dropped the whites for a while. The whites were actually making my stomach a little bit iffy. Water, salt. I cut coffee as well, which that was hard. Yeah. But I think the carnivore diet actually stabilized that whole thing, because I did cut coffee earlier this year and I went right back to it after like 3 weeks. I was like, oh God, my mind's not working. My mind's working. I'm more productive this month than ever. We are, my wife and I. But what's interesting is I've always had a little bit of fat on the side, and you can see that's my glutes, right?
Bloody hell.
All that insulin's gone. I'm 50 years old. I mean, this is.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
That's not diet. I wasn't dieting. Okay. I actually slowed down because I was forcing myself to eat, which I thought that's kind of defeating the purpose. So I'm just listening. This diet will tell you when to eat and when you're done. I mean, we were teaching macros. We I was doing bodybuilder, typical bro diet, super high carbohydrates. I was eating 450 grams of carbohydrates a day, about 50 grams of fat.
And eating like 6 times a day.
Exactly. Yeah. Eating basically, 16 hours a day. And now, hands off, I've created a whole series of life without something. And it's like life without weigh-ins, life without ankle pain, life without knee pain, life without back pain. And the carnivore diets is huge in changing that. So if you're interested in this, definitely get to know Simon, join the Carnivore Challenge. It's worth it. You'll change your entire life. So can't recommend Simon highly enough. So
thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Yeah, my pleasure, man. Thank you. So where can we find you on social media? That's the Carnivore Challenge. Is there do you have other pages or other places we can?
Yeah, so either at How to Carnivore, or one word for the Carnivore Challenge, or at McKenzie's, McKenzies meets, MEATS, or one word. Send me a DM. I will literally respond right away, and we can have a chat, work out what you need help with, and evaluate whether I can help.
All right. And I'll put all these links below the video, so you won't have to go searching for them. Thank you so much, Simon. Man,
thank you, buddy.
What a great friend you
awesome. Are. It was great to chat.
Likewise. Let's continue.
Absolutely. All right. Thanks, buddy.
See you, buddy.